From Bears' last stand to Saban's empire, we built the league, broke the mold, and rewrote the code. Crimson Tide, unstoppable, undeniable, untouchable. 7-9 champs, goal line stand. Barry Cross made Penn State fold their hand. Chile ran, Ogilvie danced. Sugar Bowl glory, banner advance. Ray Perkins brought Bennett's wrath. 3-time All-American cleared the path. Bill Curry's crew, Siren Stacy's fire. Deep steep crown, crimson never tired. Gene Stallings, 92 rain. Teague stripped Miami, left them in pain. Jay Barker Lassick, Odin Tide. Langham locked down, Thorpe took flight. We're nothing but a winner. The best to ever do it. Crimson Tide rolls deep. No one cannot do it. Built for the lights, bred for the fight. We don't chase greatness, we define it right. Saban touchdown, turn fire to flame. 6 rings later, they chant his name. And Graham ran wild, first Heisman won. 2009, Texas came undone.
Roll Tide domination. 2 days until it goes down. 2 days until it goes down in Norman, Oklahoma. The Tide will be storming to Norman today. I finally got all 3 coaches recorded for this week. So I want to just go through what they said, what they had to say, and ask some questions along the way if we have to or we can. What do y'all think about what's about to be said? I want to make a little meat. And let's see, let's get this thing rolling. Coach Grubb.
Coach Ryan Grubb. If you have a question for Coach, just raise your hand. We'll get a microphone over to you. We're ready for questions at this time. We'll start here with Nick Kelly on the front right.
Hey, Ryan, to get the offense back to where it was when it kind of was at its peak this season, what do you think needs to happen?
Well, obviously, we got to get a rhythm early in the football game. We're capable of that in the SEC championship. Besides taking a knee at the end of the half, I think we ran 19 plays in the first half of that game. 9 of them were runs. We just weren't effective at all. So it starts with just, moving the chains on third down. I think simply put, those are the things that we did really well early in the season and at the midpoint when we were on that 4-game run against some tough opponents. And the consistency in that is we're more than capable. We got great kids that play hard, smart, and they're more than capable of getting that done. So excited about the challenge.
Jumping over to the front left, Colin.
Hey, Ryan, what have you seen, I guess, from Jam over the past 2 weeks? Is he, with him being fully healthy, or have you seen more of a fire under him as he, in practice? Or?
Yeah, Jam's always got a fire. But yeah, he looks great. He's out there running around today. Did an awesome job. Feel like he'll be full go, ready to contribute and help us get rolling again.
Well, here's the problem with Jam. I mean, what if he gets hurt again between now and let's say the possible next game? Where are these other backs at that were highly touted? I know everybody hadn't had the chance to get all their grown men weight on them, but at least got to be 3 guys between Draylon Washington and Daniel Hill. We got to have a strong attack in the running game.
Going back to the front right, let's go to Tony next.
With the struggles in the running game, how important is it to take deep shots early in the game, maybe to open up the defense a little bit, just to kind of maybe announce your presence there? Is that a strategy you kind of use?
I've used them all. I've used throw the deep ball early and run later, run early, throw the deep ball after. So I think some of it obviously comes down to whatever schematic advantage you think you have against a particular defense and what they give you early in a game or don't give you. And I think sometimes there's a feel-out process during the game, and you can see what you think you have success with. But, for us, whether the ball's going down the field or running the football, we got to be more consistent with the ball moving forward, period. Whether it's an explosive play, 5-yard run, we got to get first downs and be consistent on early downs.
Question from Joe back in the middle right there.
Coach, what does Oklahoma's defense do so well that creates their havoc plays, turnover, sacks, and what is the key to avoiding that?
Good
Why
question.
not?
They
Why
do a great
not?
job of creating confusion. That's what they're good at. Their guys are, well executed. You can see that they've been in the system a couple years now, have kind of moved forward a little bit compared to even last year. So I think it's just really trying to get your eyes in the wrong spots. Their guys play physical and fast, so they're confident in the scheme that they run, which I think is really, really important in any scheme. And they certainly do that. So they play with an edge that, you got to make sure that you're matching their intensity and go above it.
Well, I just wonder, like when they run that wide nine with their defensive ends. I mean, everybody's been doing it since Oklahoma. Defensive ends are just basically on an angle. They're on a very thin angle. I don't know whether we do, I guess I say a 20% attack angle right to the quarterback. And why are our tackles, and these guys could be undersized too. They're not really big guys, but why can our tackles get there? And I mean every time. Proctor gets there, Proctor gets pressure allowed coming through him, not really the sacks. And on the other side, is the freshman going to be ready to put up with that? Or is he handling that? Why? I don't know what's going on the offensive line. I lay a lot of the fault at the feet of the offensive line. Coach.
Before the SEC championship, talking to Kalen about a rematch. It had been a while since y'all had played Georgia, so he talked about it being different teams. It's only been a month since that Oklahoma game.
Yeah.
Is there kind of a benefit to that y'all moved the ball pretty well against a really good defense and things y'all can draw back on from that previous matchup?
Yeah, I think I heard Coach Venables say it before. I think we have tendencies, they have tendencies. We have things that we do well, they have things that they do well, and we just got to pit those things as we see fit. And I think as far as timing, the closer proximity to the last game, I don't know if that really gives you an advantage or not. I certainly think it probably makes the picture potentially a little clearer than maybe earlier in the season. And then certainly personnel-wise, I think you know probably what's going on at this point.
Going to the far right side of the Charlie.
We'll see.
Yeah, Coach, just what have you seen from Josh Cuevas in practice in terms of what he's been able to do, and how big would it be to get him back for your offense?
Yeah, Josh has been a huge part of the offense all year. So, for us, just, in the run game, pass game, everything he can do is critical. We've missed him, his leadership, and his presence on the field for sure. And just playmaking ability, catching the ball, breaking tackles after he gets the football, which he certainly did, last time against Oklahoma. So he's been looking great, and we're excited to have him back out there.
Got a question in the back row on the far left there.
Hey, Coach, last time against Oklahoma, you said you were going to change up the offensive signs and signals. Did you ever feel like Venables kind of knew what was coming or picked up on any of the signs that were new in the first meeting?
I think that those guys that are, working signals eventually get them during the course of a football game. So you have to have measures, throughout the game to try to combat that. And I thought, there was times where you certainly thought there were some of those things that they had gotten. I didn't feel like it affected anything or got us to the point where, we weren't making a play because of that. And we huddled quite a bit as well. So some of that's, kind of irrelevant.
I'm glad he said that, but I know it was a real close game. Every little bit counts. Hopefully he still did make some changes as we go forward for other teams, especially against those Big Ten teams who are documented to go through extraordinary measures to acquire things to their advantage. So I'm glad he said that, and he's very aware of it. And we just got to go in there and make Oklahoma look like they're not that good, period.
Go to Will on the left side.
Coach, what do you want to see from the offensive line in this matchup against Oklahoma?
Oh, Lord.
Gave up 4 sacks last time, whether that be personnel-wise or just in general, whether it's run game, pass game, and all that.
Elite communication.
Yep.
The best communication they've had all year. That's what it's going to come down to, because in the first game, they did a good job of that. We had 2 negative yardage runs, which were actually gains of 0. We talked about that before. The sacks came on lack of communication. And, one of them really was probably Ty could have got out of his hand. But, ultimately for us, it's just going to come down to those guys communicating and everybody being on the same call. If half the line's on one call, the other half's not, that's where your problems happen. That's where sacks and problems in the A and B gap happen. So just elite communication.
Hey, Coach, we've heard about how this added rest and time to reset, get everyone's bodies right, has paid off from Ty. What are you seeing that's indicating the team is heading in the right direction as they go into OU this weekend?
I think anytime you're in a game prep and you feel like the attention to detail, the execution in practice is continuing to climb, you're feeling pretty confident the guys are getting in the right spot to play. And certainly this week, I've seen that every single day, including today at practice, where the level of detail and, just how hard they're working out there, honestly, like the actual output, you can tell they're ready to get back on the field for Friday.
Got a follow-up from Vic on the front right.
Yeah, you found ways to get Ryan Williams involved with some short stuff and use his athleticism. In lieu of giving us the game plan, how can you build on what he did in the SEC championship game?
I mean, I think all the guys that are, touch players that you can get the ball in space. Certainly Ryan is that kind of guy. Now you got to have all the compliments to go with it. He certainly is a guy that can hurt you down the field as well. And those are the things you got to try to, paint the picture for the defense of what you want to do and where you're going to get the football. But Ryan can get it now at the line of scrimmage, in the backfield. He
Please
can get it
no.
down the field on a post route. So those are the things that, the intermediary routes and things like that. I feel like, Ryan, when he's playing his best, is in all those positions.
And the only reason I say that about no on the jet sweeps, I think people see them coming. We just have very extraordinary athletes that are able to make something out of them most times. But I think they're just a telegraph. You put a wide receiver in the backfield, what do you think is about to happen? He's about to pass block, pick up the blitz, or is they going, they're going to throw it to him, or you should watch very early for them to hand the ball off to him. I really appreciate the jet sweeps that come when they go all the way across the formation. They got Lassie Brooks going across, coming back, and setting up at an up back position. I don't like those at all.
Follow-up from Colin.
Not a lot of them.
With kind of a couple of days off here,
Yep.
have you been able to assess what you've seen from Wilkin at right guard, and what have you seen? I guess, how can he improve? Do you like that spot for him? What have you seen?
Yeah, I met with the O-line earlier this week and just talked about that a little bit because, for Wilkin, I think it's important, and I made sure the room knows it too, Michael didn't move to tackle because Wilkin wasn't playing good at tackle. It was an overall move to help the right side, and it felt like Wilkin was playing great at tackle, I thought. And, so the move inside was more about Wilkin helping the interior of the offensive line. I think he's done a great job of that. He's a good communicator when you have a freshman next to you. Michael needs that communication and has done a good job listening to the older guys. So I really feel like he's done a great job, especially for a guy that hasn't played a ton of guard. And there's times where he's playing at a really, really high level.
I'm not saying the man lying, but that's a weird answer. I mean, how weird is that? We got a freshman. You got all these other people on the team. Jaden Roberts, we got a freshman. So we took our guy who's playing well at tackle and put him at guard to make the interior better. Yet Parker Brailsford is on somebody's all something, I know what I'm doing, best center watch list. And the other guy, Gino Vandermark, he killing it over there. That don't make sense. That don't make complete sense. Follow would be nice.
Coach, something that Ryan Williams mentioned to us a couple of days ago is how a way they can help Tyus get lined up faster. Is that something that's been an issue in your eyes?
Say it again. What was the last part?
Ryan Williams said that
Just getting lined up quicker.
Yeah, getting lined up quicker. Has that been kind of a concern or an issue in your eyes?
It's always a concern. If I'm being honest, it wouldn't matter if they went Mach 4 to the line of scrimmage. It wouldn't be fast enough. I think if you're early to the test, you're helping yourself. Get up there, paint the picture for the center and the quarterback, have the threat of snapping the football at any second when we get up there. And that's really what it should look like on every play. And so we certainly have not been perfect at that. Today, I thought the guys did a better job of that, but there always has to be the threat of the offense snapping the football. And those were some of the big plays that we had against Oklahoma last time was, snapping the football early, waiting to snap the ball, and going back and forth. So our guys being able to execute that and put some pressure on the defense is a big part of what we do. So, yeah, I think, that just shows the ownership that Ryan, has in the offense and that he wants it to be great.
All right, let's finish up with Joe.
I saw somebody say something about they expect to see Alabama play a little more tempo this game. I don't like tempo. I think if you have tempo and you have momentum going, you can throw a play in here or there. Let's say you get to a 2nd and 4 and you hurry up and you got a hand signal and you go right to the line. You may give yourself a little advantage. But just going play after play after play, I don't like that at all because it's one thing to have a 3 and out. In Alabama, I think somebody gave a stat saying that in the last 3 or 4 games where about 40% of our drives are 3 and outs. You can have that 3 and out happen in 3 minutes, or you can have that 3 and out happen in 75 seconds. I prefer the 3-minute variety.
Yep.
Coach, staying with the offensive line questions, how important is it to get Cam Dewberry back into the lineup? And what have you seen from Parker Brailsford with this time off as far as his health? And
Cam's back.
Yeah, Parker looks a lot better. He was
guard.
Total warrior, man. I mean, the last couple weeks he was. I can't believe he was out there, to be honest with you. I mean, he's a tough dude. So he looks way better. This time off has really helped him. He's been in that training room, relentless, just with his pursuit of getting better. And then as far as having Cam back, I think Cam has the potential to be a big-time spark. I thought he was playing his best football right up to when he got injured, and really had built into a better part of the season for him. And so it was kind of tough seeing him go backwards there. But, everybody has injuries. That's, part of the game. And this point of the season, this late in the year, everybody's dealing with stuff. You bet.
I just don't know. Cam Dewberry, is he at right guard or left guard? Is he going to put Wilkin out? Or does that take Gino Vandermart out? I had to see when he came out. I guess he came out a couple of days ago. Did he come out doing when the offense started struggling? That may mean a lot going into playoffs. I need to look that up. Up next is Coach K. Womack. He's going to give us his spiel. Look this up. Look this Cam Dewberry stuff up.
Right. It was really been a great couple weeks from our guys. I think the players have really good demeanor right now. It's been awesome to get some players healthy. We've really been in a good position, probably healthier than we've been in the last 4 or 5 weeks, which is very encouraging. Guys got to finish up some classes. We had 21 new graduates, 36 guys overall going into the playoffs with their degree. Pretty special, pretty awesome. Tremendous job by just our staff and academic staff, and now it gives our guys a chance to kind of just focus in on playing football, the game they love, and an opportunity in the playoffs. So I think we're going into our 10th SEC opponent now, which in 13 weeks. So another great opponent that we've already faced. I think Oklahoma's got a great rhythm. They have an understanding of who they are and what they want to be and how they want to operate, and they're executing that plan at an efficient level, playing their best football here at the end of the season, which is what any good coaching staff can ask for. And I think we're doing some really good things in a number of areas, and we've also got to improve in a number of areas. And so our guys seem to have a great sense of urgency to get certain things fixed, and also are keeping the main thing. I think they're playing fast and playing physical in practice, and those things got to show up in Norman, Oklahoma on Friday.
I need that ball, Coach. And just to update you, Cam Dewberry went out during the LSU game. Of course, we dominated LSU. Things got a little sketchy really after that. So maybe that Cam Dewberry piece may be what we're needing, because I know Gino played pretty well against Tennessee. And they always, it's just, so maybe Gino's the guy that comes in and spells Wilkin for me, spells the guard position, and Cam Dewberry may be the piece that we need to get more of that aggression on that left side of the line. Because really, when you get center through left tackle, if they're the most awesome force in college football, you can always run behind them. But let us proceed with Coach Kane of Womack.
You mentioned it's good to get some guys back healthy. Kalen DeBoer the other day said that LT Overton's going to be doubtful. So in terms of replacing what he brings as a pass rusher, can you just kind of paint the picture of what that looks like in practice?
Yeah, I think, we've done a lot of different packaging, putting different personnel groups on the field. You've seen some of that already. I think I counted up the other day. I think we've had 16 different personnel groupings that we've carried in games, which is more than what I've done in the past, but I think it's how we utilize our roster better, and we'll continue to do those things and moving guys around so that we can generate pass rush, get the right people on the field at the right time. But certainly Jordan Renaud, you've seen Keon Keeley. We've even moved, in certain packages. You've seen James Smith play the bandit field position and short yardage goal line, tight red zones, certain things like that. And then from a pass rush standpoint, which you ask about, I don't know if you noticed. I mean, we've been doing this for 6-7 weeks now, but putting Janze Pierre over there a little bit, and then putting one of those other wolves in there from a pass rush standpoint. So we'll continue to find different personnel groupings. I think that's my job. We're not reinventing the wheel in terms of what we're doing defensively, but who goes in what places and how we move those guys around. I mean, to me, that's a big piece of what I do here on the back end of the season to maximize our personnel.
So all that rotation on the defense side is just great. It's just great. I mean, give people experience, but something about the offensive line, playing like 8 linemen, 9 linemen, unless somebody's hurt, it's playoff time. It's time to go to the starting 5 and get you 2 backups in case of injury, because we need consistency from those guys. Like you said, the communication. One day you're hearing this guy's voice, next minute you're hearing that guy's voice. You got to have that communication. You got to know that, sometimes he does get his block, but he does it like, you always switching in the heat of the battle. You got a guy next to you doing something that you have to adjust to because he's a different person. He's different than the person last series that was in the game. It's just works very well on defense. Right now, not working that well with our offensive line. You can switch receivers, should be able to switch backs. Really can't switch quarterbacks. And you can switch tight ends. But the linemen who have to communicate and see all this stunting and blitzing and all this stuff, no. We need to have a starting 5 ready to go.
I think winning the turnover battle is one of y'all's keys to victory every week, but both games this season you haven't forced a turnover. Alabama's lost. So just kind of how big is that, you think, heading into the playoff in this rematch with Oklahoma?
Yeah, takeaways, Katie. We call them takeaways. Turnover implies they gave us the ball. Takeaway implies we took that thing from them. So
get it.
No, we do. We want to create takeaways. If you look at the game against Oklahoma the first time, really at every marker, we tried to say, hey, look, we got to go outplay their defense, and they do a tremendous job. And really, at pretty much every marker, we were able to do that, with the exception of taking the ball off of them. And they took it off of us 3 times, and we didn't take the ball away, and that really was the difference in the game. So
3 times.
Those are the things that we're trying to push and press. Sometimes they come in bunches. I think our players are doing as good of a job as they ever have of trying to create takeaways, trying to punch at the ball. We talk about shots on goal, right? Shots on ball. That's ultimately the what's going to create takeaways is effort and physicality and a sense of, it's different when you approach a ball carrier thinking, okay, let me just get this guy on the ground versus I'm trying to take the ball off of him. And I think we've got a number of guys that are doing that, but it's got to show up on game day. We cannot walk out of that game -3 in the turnover margin again.
Let's go to Nick. All right.
Yeah, Oklahoma's defense obviously has been talked a good bit about, and for good reason, because it's a good defense. But
Yeah.
do you sense your guys wanting to maybe prove something to show how good of a defense that you have?
Well, I think anytime you're going up against, not only a good offense, but you know what is happening on the other side of the ball. You recognize what they're doing defensively, and I think rightfully so they have gotten a lot of praise on defense, and I think that was a challenge for us in the first game. Let's make sure we are the most dominant defense on the field, and like I said, in the first game, you can point to just about every marker where we were, with the exception of taking the ball away, and that to me is what, ultimately, scoring defense and takeaways. If there are 2 markers that we should be judged on as a defense, it's how many points are we giving up and are we taking the ball off of people? And it doesn't matter how they got the ball or where they get the ball or what the situation is. Can we find ways to stop people, and are we giving our offense more opportunities to score? And we didn't do a good enough job of that in the first game, and that, ultimately that was a deciding factor.
It's good how he doesn't say anything about how the offense gave the ball away. But I know this whole time he's been talking, he didn't say anything about the run, because in their minds, it's like, I don't care what you running. If you run the ball 175 yards a game, but I get 2 turnovers off your running backs, it's a different concept for us Alabama fans to get used to the fact, hey, these guys their rushing defense is not going to be what you thought it would be, because these guys are trying to get after this ball. They're playing passing lanes. They're doubling people. They're forcing pressure on the quarterback to make them make mistakes. They want to take the ball away. That is almost job 1. Well, stopping points is job 1. Taking the ball away is job 2.
Obviously, the college football playoff is kind of an expectation at Alabama. but this is kind of the first iteration of, with Kalen and this staff, the experience. Like, how are you encouraging your players, I guess, in this win or go home kind of mentality? What's the feeling? Because it's kind of brand new for this staff. With it being the first
I think you're right. Certainly in the college football playoff format, but let's not get it twisted. We've been playing win or go home since Florida State. So I mean, this is just another game for us that means everything. And
Word.
I think that's the way our players have carried themselves. I think that's the way the coaches carry themselves. You're coaching for your life every single day. You're playing for your life and a chance to go play another one. Now, ultimately, this is win or go home. But let's not get it twisted. It's been like that all season long.
Yeah, this was a game last month that Red Morgan made his first career start, performed
Yeah.
pretty well against the Sooners. Just what do you see him in this matchup, and how has he kind of progressed over this last month?
Red's been on fire.
When you look at Oklahoma and how they want to attack you, perimeter throws, space throws, and Red is one of our best space tacklers. He's one of the best strikers we have on the team, if not our best striker. And what I mean by that is there's just a natural feeling of a guy that can get his feet in the ground at the right time and get the right placement to be able to step with your right foot and right shoulder and maximize power to get, to get somebody on the ground. To do that out in space, right, is a compounding, challenge. And so he does a great job of leveraging the blocks in the perimeter, but then he can get off those blocks and make plays in space. And so certainly his production showed up. He's continued to elevate his game and play better and better out there. But when you are playing a team that is going to stretch you laterally, your field nickel, right, has to kind of set a wall out there, and essentially, right, put on film that, hey, look, if you want to throw the ball out here, right, you're going to have a hard day.
Yeah.
And Red's doing that as good as we've seen for a while.
Jump over to the left side, Will.
Coach, that loss last year, obviously you took a big hit in the personnel group with Deontay getting hurt. What have you seen from him as he's really just stormed back from that injury and been a leadership presence and an on-field presence for this team as you go back into familiar confines this Friday?
Yeah, I think Deontay he's playing as good a football as he has played. He's got great confidence. He's taking care of his body at an elite level. He operates as a professional, and he's getting rewarded for it at the back end of the season.
That's right.
I told the guys in fall camp, and I remind them all season long, this is a war of attrition. So who can stay healthy? Your best ability is your availability. And guys like him that take care of their bodies throughout the grind of a season in the SEC, are ultimately going to put us in position in the playoffs to go compete. And we, in this league, have it harder than anybody else in the country when it comes to getting yourself ready to go compete in the playoffs. Just because of the grind that you face physically week in and week out. And I think it's if I'm looking at, Deontay Lawson in terms of the NFL and his availability and the way he's pushed himself, I mean, what a guy that is going to show up every week, and he's only going to get better and better. And so he's great for his teammates. He's great in our building. He's a leader. He holds people accountable. He plays with tremendous effort and practice every day. And his best ability is his availability. Just keeps showing up. It's awesome.
Amen.
We have a question from Zoom. Eli Letterman from ESPN. Go ahead, Eli, with your question.
All right. Zoom
Hey,
question.
Kane. You were coming up as a defensive coordinator yourself while Brent Venables was at Clemson. I'm curious what you remember from afar of watching him, and then when you look at him now and as a play caller yourself, what jumps out to you about the way he operates?
Yeah, I've gotten to know Brent a little bit over the years, and I mean, he's obviously an extremely proven play caller. He's found ways in different places, different defensive personnel to have a highly efficient defense. And I think one of the things that stands out is not only are they an efficient defense, but they're a productive defense. And when you look at it, look at their markers: scoring defense and takeaways. Those are the two things that I think matter most for a defense, and I think they're operating at an extremely high level in that regard. And so we exchanged text a few weeks ago, and just talked to him about, how impressive they are to watch, and you get a little bit of crossover work and seeing some of the games that they faced and opponents and common opponents. And sometimes there's an exchange of information there as well. But certainly, anybody that's doing something well in the league, I think it's our job, as defensive coaches and as good coordinators in our profession to just take notice of what those teams are doing and see if you can incorporate maybe something fundamentally, something schematically, maybe something from a personnel grouping standpoint that fits, your team and how we can operate better. And so Brent's doing it at a really high level right now, and his players are buying into that.
Any other questions?
Nice.
Finish up with Joe right here in the middle. We got Mike.
Coach, how would you assess your unit's ability to play offense on the perimeter, screen passes, swing passes, sweeps, and how that marries to an offense's really want to get into the quarterback 1+ run situation?
Yeah, I think we make it really hard for people on the perimeter. I think the way that we leverage the ball schematically, I think the way that we talk and teach fundamentally, getting off blocks, we have a number of ways that we can kind of mess with people on those perimeter space tackles and then still have enough hats in the box for the 1+, run fit. And so those are things that certainly Oklahoma challenged us in the first game. If they're listening, I'm not going to call any one play the same. It'll be a completely different game plan in all areas. Good
job,
but
Coach.
ultimately, right, you have to find creative ways to defend the lateral space and still take care of a 1+ quarterback system. And that, to me, right, is probably what they've done a really good job of, is they just stretch you laterally with all 11 bodies, and you got to be able to defend, their 1+ quarterback runs. And so that'll be a great challenge for us on Friday.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thanks, guys. Roll Tide.
He's doing a doggone thing. Up next, of course, is the head man, Coach Kalen DeBoer. He's tough. He's tough on himself, which is good. But y'all know some of these games, they've kept people off the board, man. He takes accountability for what he's doing. He's trying to get better. He's getting their athletes into place. And I love everything he's doing. I was really down on him until I started looking at the numbers. Game 4 or 5 last year, I was like, whoa, this guy's doing some new stuff. Be patient and we'll pay off for you. But let's see, I just can't get the offensive line off my mind. I just not explain. Settle down now.
We'll have Coach begin with an opening statement, and then we'll go ahead and take questions.
Yeah, you bet. It's afternoon. All right, good afternoon.
And for the record, the first 2 interviews took place today. This took place yesterday.
Just got off the practice field, having to coach those receivers a little bit more and help out. I'm a little more winded than normal. So, just a couple things. Just back to work. Had some great practices at the end of last week. Guys had graduation. I have to make a note, 37 guys that got their degrees that are on our football team, 26 new players that have a degree, and so super proud of that. We worked our schedule on Saturday around that. Some had a practice later, actually got underneath the lights, was really good, and then got back to work again yesterday with some meetings and such, and then today more of a full practice. You can try to talk me into today's Monday, but Tuesday in our world because of a Friday game, and so again getting ready for that. And Coach Venables and Oklahoma, a very good football team here for a reason, and a 10-2 record. They play team football like it's meant to be played, and we know we're going to go into an environment that's going to be rowdy. It's going to be a great atmosphere. Our guys got to be ready for that, and I feel like we've been prepared, through the SEC schedule that we've been on here all season. So, got a few more days. We got to keep stacking practices, but really excited about the progress and like the direction it's headed.
Thank you, Coach. Let's start with Nick.
Very good.
Yeah, just for clarity's sake, so things aren't left up to interpretation, are you going to be the coach of Alabama next year?
Man, come on, Nick. All right, I put a statement out yesterday because first of all, our guys handle distractions phenomenally. It's been that way all season long. They continue to do that. And so, but I also, knew that yesterday and today was pretty important. I wasn't going to see until today to address it. So that's why I put that out there. A lot of the same things I said before, a couple weeks ago when asked really the same question. Just, feel completely supported. My family loves living here. Just all the things that we continue to build on. Love the progress. Haven't talked with anyone. No plans of talking with anyone. So just, I think that's a lot of what I said a couple weeks ago, and it continues to be the same thing. Feel strong about it. And our guys, if there's been any distraction, I haven't seen it, haven't felt it. And so I'm really proud of the way they've handled whatever noise is out there. And again, we've probably all season long have dealt with enough noise to where it doesn't surprise me on how they handle this.
Mm-hmm.
Katie, second row in the middle left.
You said after the SEC championship that it wasn't really a confidence issue for Ty, but more continuity with the offense, just kind of with a couple extra days to get healthy leading into this game. What's the continuity looked like this week on offense?
Yeah, it's been better, I thought, as a team, and that would include obviously the offense on Saturday. Today's Monday. I told you guys were going to try to talk me into Monday. But Saturday, it was one of our best practices we've had in a long time. And across the board, just the energy, it starts with energy, but just the execution for where we were at with our installation, and we continue to build on that. You're a little bit ahead because we have these extra days, so with third downs, red zone, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there is more continuity. There's guys that are healthier. It's up front, offensive line wise. It's the receiving core, and other guys that are continued to build into more reps as we work through the week, and hope that continues to be the case here moving forward.
Go far right, Charlie.
Just for clarification and going back to Nick's question, will you be the coach at Alabama next season?
I plan on it, yes.
Man, I mean, oh my God.
Insubordinate and churlish.
I mean, just come on, man. Come on, man. We trying to get the real up in here. You coming with the wasted question.
Nick, yes. Charlie, yes.
Jesus
Come on to the
Christ.
left side of the room to Chase.
When Oklahoma won here about a month ago, some of their players got on the logo at the 50-yard line, taking pictures and so forth, while staff was trying to get it roped off. Some of your players addressed that earlier this week. What were your thoughts about that?
I guess I wasn't aware of that. Now I am, so I'm going to talk to our team about it. So I guess I did remember seeing something with it roped off. I didn't know, what the extent of what that was. So yeah, I mean, that probably gives you an idea. To me, this is about this game. This is about our playoff game. I mean, we respect who they are as a football team. They've obviously got the better side of things the last two times we've played, and so that's really where our focus is at. And I do remember something vaguely about that. It hasn't really even been a conversation in our meetings. This has been solely about we're in the playoffs. It's win or go home, and we need to be given everything we can to be in our best, and the work that is ahead.
Stay on the front left. Collins next.
Kalen, you mentioned a little bit about this earlier, but with the distraction of, the rumors and there's other things too, but how have you seen players kind of respond, especially with, them having to answer questions about kind of your place here and things like that, and things seemingly everything outside of, the playoff against Oklahoma? How have you seen players respond to that?
I mean, outside of knowing that there was a question or two, I think at the end of last week, it's been non-existent. I mean, it really hasn't. Our guys are focused on Oklahoma. They really are. I mean, that's where that's what we've been completely focused on, and I haven't seen anything other than that. Again, these guys deal with noise, and they know that that's what it is. What's internal is what matters.
Let's go to Emily Grace on the middle right.
Hey, Coach, can you just give an update on the injuries? I know that a lot of guys are trying to get healthy from SEC championship until now. What's the overall health of the team at?
Can you help me out on who you're looking for here?
Yeah, we saw Jam out there today, just his progress along with Parker Brailsford, Cam Dewberry, a few of those guys.
Yep. Jam, he said Parker. Parker's doing good. He's been practicing. Jam, he's making good progress. Just kind of continue to see how the week goes along. You guys saw him out there doing some things today. Who else? Cuevas, very similar to Jam, making progress out there, doing some work, and really I guess you're optimistic at this point. We still got four days left. So those guys are heading a good direction, making good progress, and continue to evaluate them leading forward. But, you saw them out there doing some things today in practice.
Go to the back middle of the room to Joe.
Coach, with the recent success on the road this season, what's been your message to the team? Have you changed anything up from last season? You had a couple follies on the road, and this year much more successful on the road. And then kind of combined with that, you already touched on it with the playoff and the privilege. How do you handle kind of the finality of win or go home?
As far as differences from this year to last year, and first of all, we've played much better. 4-0 in the conference games, and so in really strong environments. We maybe show up a little bit later or a little bit earlier, just like an hour or two. It's really nothing major. Things that we worked into our schedule. We still do our team meeting on the road. We still do position meetings and stuff. So really not a lot that we change. I think it's all about the mindset that when you're in the moment, how you're going to respond, because you don't have your home crowd. And I think that's where, we've executed better in the critical situations. And that was kind of a theme going in with the off season that I've really stressed to you and as well as the team. And so, I think we've just been better in those moments, because these games do come down to the wire. And the one game we didn't make the critical plays was this one at home, so we've actually done a pretty good job on the road. But that's really been where I think we've improved to be better on the road in these type of games.
Go to Mike on the back right.
One more injury, LT Overton, just wanted to see where he stands.
Just with LT, continue to monitor him. I would not say he's doubtful for this weekend.
All right, we have one last question from the Zoom, Eli Letterman on ESPN. Go ahead, Eli.
Hey, Kalen. I know the focus is very tight on this week, but you've seen Brent Venables earlier this fall prepped for him. You've got him again this week. And I'm curious, from a kind of 10,000-foot view, what are the elements that make his defensive play calling and the way he approaches leading a defense in game distinct from your perspective?
Well, obviously play calling is a huge part of it, but I think it's the design of the defense and, your play caller have to be on the same page with the defense that's out there and how they attack, and, the variety and the diversity of what they do in their different packages. They got great players too. And so up front, they just do a great job of causing chaos, and, they love the tackles for loss and the sacks. And there's obviously a trigger man, and Coach Venables being one of the best that there is at doing it. Obviously he's running the show. And so, always got a ton of respect for what he does, but they have an attacking mindset. There's no question about it, and one of the best in the country at doing it.
All right, let's finish up with Johnny Condon in the back.
Hey, Kalen, with their pass rush, how important is it that you guys remain balanced in the run game, even if maybe early on you aren't gashing them, that you remain consistent in that so those pass rushers don't get loose?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it is. We did a pretty good job, actually. We had we actually blocked some things up better than what I thought we produced as far as total yardage. Some of that was, though, off the sacks that we had. If I remember right, we had 4 for 25, 30 yards, something like that. And so, compared to other teams, because this is a very good defense, and that's what you're kind of looking at, I thought we did we ran the ball as well as anyone had. And so we got to keep building on that. And that is important, though, because the more you can do of that, the better situations and third downs that you can be, where Ty can go, not have to force the ball down the field, which takes more time. And, third and mediums, third and shorts, love to live in that world. But there's obviously a team on the other side of the ball that's trying to make that world a little bit harder and not let you get in those spots. And so everything we can do to continue to be, staying ahead of the chains, whether it's run or pass, playing good, smart, clean football, that's going to be really important for our success on offense.
All right, thank you, Coach.
You bet. Thank you, guys. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, roll. Folks, I'm looking forward to what's going to go down on Friday. I'm not going to hold you very long. We know we've been here for a long one. I'm still, I got the offensive line is on my mind. The play calling is on my mind, but I think they may just have a plan for success. I look forward to seeing what they come up with. Please remember, I'm coming in the middle of the fourth quarter to do a what you call a game recap. No matter what happens, I'll be here in the fourth quarter. And join me if you can. And remember my show Around the Herd Tuesdays at 7 p.m. And always remember, folks, roll, tide, roll.